Channel 4, KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth.
News. The most complete, up-to-the-minute coverage on the Great Southwest. With Walter Evans on news and Jack Beverly with weather.
Good afternoon. 2 Dallas fire.
Eyewitness News. The most complete, up-to-the-minute coverage in the Great Southwest with Ray Walker and Judy Jordan on news, Warren Culbertson with weather, and Roger Twibell on sports.
Good evening. These are some of the top stories we'll be reporting at 10 o'clock. Those Arab nations who've been criticizing the Camp David Accords have received a major boost. One Palo Pinto County jail escapee has been caught. The search continues for the remaining 2. In Amarillo, an amnesia victim has been identified as a missing court witness. A House committee urges more local responsibility for convicted criminals, and SMU loses an exciting heartbreaker. We'll have details of these and other stories on Eyewitness News at 10 o'clock.
That's what you need.
Might be a little shaky on I-635.
Yeah. Yes. You'd have to step on it. That's our news for now. We thank you for joining us and hope you'll stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.
We'll see you the day after Mother's Day.
KDFW-TV, Channel 4, Dallas-Fort Worth. Now on Channel 4, the 10 o'clock news.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
News 4, Dallas-Fort Worth, with Clarice Tinsley, Chip Moody, Wayne Shattuck, and Dale Hansen. News 4, Dallas-Fort Worth, with Chip Moody, Clarice Tinsley, Wayne Shattuck, and Paul Crane.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. Our top story tonight.
Next, Channel 4 News, recorded earlier this evening as a special service for our late-night viewers.
News 4, Dallas-Fort Worth, with Chip Moody, Clarice Tinsley, Wayne Shattuck, and Paul Crane.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. Our top story tonight is from Grenada.
News 4, Dallas-Fort Worth, with Clarice Tinsley, Chip Moody, Wayne Shattuck, and Brett Lewis.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's making news this Friday night. The Dallas police tonight are cracking down on drunk drivers with checkpoints and extra officers.
From Channel 4, Dallas and Fort Worth, the 10 o'clock news, with Chip Moody, Clarice Tinsley, Wayne Shattuck, and Dale Hansen. From Channel 4, Dallas and Fort Worth, the 10 o'clock news, with Chip Moody, Clarice Tinsley, Wayne Shattuck, and Dale Hansen.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us.
From Channel 4, Dallas and Fort Worth, the 10 o'clock news, with Chip Moody, Clarice Tinsley, Wayne Shattuck, and Dale Hansen.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Braniff International Airlines earlier today.
Now, Channel 4 News, Dallas-Fort Worth. With Walter Evans, Lynn Easton, and Elisa Robin in the Channel 4 weather station. Channel 4 News, Dallas-Fort Worth. With Steve Dawson, Suzanne Moss, James Spann of the Channel 4 weather station, and Kevin McCarthy on sports. Now, Channel 4 News, Dallas-Fort Worth. With Steve Bosch, Clarice Tinsley, James Spann in the Channel 4 weather station, and Paul Crane on sports. From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Channel 4 News. The 6 o'clock reports with Clarice Tinsley, Steve Bosch, Tom Riley in the Channel 4 weather station, and Bill Swanbeck on sports. From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Channel 4 News. The 10 o'clock reports with Steve Bosch, Clarice Tinsley, Tom Riley in the Channel 4 weather station, and Bill Swanbeck on sports. Now, Channel 4 News, Dallas-Fort Worth. With Clarice Tinsley, Steve Bosch, James Spann in the Channel 4 weather station, and Paul Crane on sports.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
At the top of our news tonight, a small plane crash in Waco.
From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Channel 4 News. The 10 o'clock reports with Steve Bosch, Clarice Tinsley, Tom Riley at the Channel 4 weather station, and Paul Crane on sports. Now, Channel 4 News, Dallas-Fort Worth. Jose Sanders, Barbara White, Ron Jackson, the Channel 4 weather station, and Mark Lewis on sports. Now, Channel 4 News, Dallas-Fort Worth. With Clarice Tinsley, Steve Bosch, James Spann in the Channel 4 weather station, and Paul Crane on sports.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
At the top of our news tonight, a small plane crash in Waco.
From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Channel 4 News. The 10 o'clock report with Steve Bosch, Clarice Tinsley, Tom Riley at the Channel 4 weather station, and Paul Crane on sports.
Good evening. From D.C. to Dallas, apartheid is making news tonight.
In Washington, the president has vetoed U.S. sanctions against South Africa.
From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Steve Bosch, Clarice Tinsley, Larry Dingmore in the weather station, and Ted Dawson on sports. This is Channel 4 News, the 6 o'clock report. From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Clarice Tinsley, Steve Bosch, Larry Dingmore in the weather station, and Ted Dawson on sports. This is Channel 4 News, the 10 o'clock report. From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, Barbara White, meteorologist Ron Jackson in the weather station, and Paul Crane on sports. This is Channel 4 News, the weekend report. KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, believing in Texas. Channel 4 News, working for you, with Walter Evans, Mary Rogers, and Larry Dingmore in the weather station. This is Channel 4 News, the noon report.
The world's first industrial non-passenger airport is ready for landings in Fort Worth. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
The first plane has landed at Fort Worth's new Alliance Airport.
From KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth, believing in Texas. Channel 4 News, working for you, with Barbara White, meteorologist Ron Jackson, and Paul Crane on sports. This is Channel 4 News, the weekend report. Channel 4 News, this is Newsbreak.
Picket lines are up at Greyhound. Drivers are striking over wages. Limited service is being offered, but most passengers will have to fend for themselves. Hello, I'm Janice Glynn. Rural areas especially are hurt by this strike. We'll have an update for you at 5. And the Quarter Horse Show is underway in Fort Worth. Today, Jack Brown will take us there for a special tribute to a noble beast. Please join us for these stories at 5.
From KDFW and all around Dallas-Fort Worth, this is News for Texas at 5.
This is News for Texas at noon, with Walter Evans, Linda Edwards, and Larry Dingmore. This is News for Texas at 5, with John Criswell, Janice Glynn, Mike Berger's weather, and Ted Dawson on sports.
A tragic accident. 24-hour news source continues.
This is News for Texas at 6, with Clarice Tinsley, John Criswell, Mike Berger's weather, and Ted Dawson on sports.
Well, it's that.
Is News for Texas weekend with Barbara White, Howard Ballou, Ron Jackson with weather, and Paul Crane on sports. watching News 4 Texas at 6 with John Criswell, Kimberly Kennedy, Mike Berger's weather, and Ted Dawson on sports. News 4 Texas, your 24-hour news source, continues.
Good evening, I'm Sean Rabb. Another night of gripping cold for the Metroplex. Meteorologist Ron Jackson says we're headed for record lows tonight. Candidates for mayor of Dallas make last-minute appeals for votes and a review of the lottery. Does it bode good or bad for Texans? Louisiana gubernatorial hopeful David Duke says the NAACP discriminates and they're praying for peace in the Middle East. More on Night Beat.
This is News 4 Texas at 5.
It may be a cold dinner for motorists heading home now in North Tarrant County.
The eastbound lane of North
TD, Dallas-Fort Worth.
It could be a lucky Saturday for someone in Texas and a lucky season for area merchants as Texans open checkbooks and wallets this Christmas season.
This is News 4 Texas Night Beat.
Well, check those lottery tickets closely. 6 little numbers.
Live from the Channel 4 studios in Dallas and Fort Worth. This is News 4 Texas Night Beat.
Good evening. The city of Dallas is set to pass a tough new law on drinking just in time for the big Texas OU weekend.
Tomorrow, the city council is expected to adopt a new ordinance that says open bottles are out.
Live from the Channel 4 studios in Dallas and Fort Worth, this is News 4 Texas Night Beat.
Good evening. The sudden death of Les Aspin tops the news tonight.
A spokesman at Georgetown University Medical Center says the former defense secretary died this evening.
You're watching News 4 Texas Night Beat with Clarice Tinsley, John Criswell, Mike Berger's weather, and Ted Dawson on sports.
From KDFW-TV in Dallas-Fort Worth, covering the state of Texas, this is News 4 Texas at 10.
Good evening. I'm John Criswell.
I'm Clarice Tinsley. Welcome to the new News 4 Texas.
From KDFW-TV in Dallas-Fort Worth, covering the state of Texas, this is News 4 Texas at 9.
The tie.
This is a News for Texas News Brief. I'm John Criswell. Another opinion about a second gunman in the JFK assassination, and this North Texas woman says her videotape proves it. We'll show you at 10.
Coming up tonight, find out why a
Death of a local pastor leaves residents stunned. The killers are on the loose. The tragic details on News for Texas tonight.
FWTV in Dallas-Fort Worth, covering the state of Texas. This is News 4 Texas at 5. Live from our Dallas studios, this is Fox 4 News at 9. You are watching Fox 4 News with Steve Eager, Ashley Banfield, Tim Heller, and Mike Ducey. Broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth, this is Fox 4 News at 9. You are watching Fox 4 News with Steve Eager, Ashley Banfield, Tim Heller, and Mike Ducey. Broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth, this is Good Day Dallas.
Good morning, 7 o'clock.
You're watching Fox 4 News, the news station, with Julia Summers and Glenn Moray. Broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth, This is the news station, Fox 4 News at 9. You're watching Fox 4 News, the news station, with Steve Eager, Ashley Banfield, Tim Heller, and Mike Ducey. You're watching Fox 4, the news station, with Ashley Banfield, Baron James, Tim Heller, and Mike Ducey. Broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth, this is the news station, Fox 4 News at 10. You're watching Fox 4 News, the news station, with Clarice Tinsley, Steve Eager, Tim Heller, and Mike Ducey.
You're going to name it.
Broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth, this is the news station, Fox 4 News at 9.
When she was located in the trunk of the vehicle, she'd been severely beaten and stabbed.
It was a night of torture for a North Texas woman. Good evening, everybody. Police say 46-year-old Yvonne Camisa was kidnapped from her Allen home and brutalized.
She is
The Scrooge in this story.
You're watching the news station, broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth. This is Fox 4 News.
I'd hate to lose my son or my daughter to something like that.
Coming up at 10 on Fox 4 News.
It takes 30 minutes of the golden hour to get x-rays. You've burned a lot of time.
It once detected precious gems in the diamond mines of South Africa, but now this digital x-ray system is saving precious time in some U.S. trauma centers. I'm Baron James. Hope you'll join Clarice Tinsley and me tonight for Fox 4 News at 10.
Coming up at 10 on Fox 4 News.
If the kids deserve it, I would think it would be a good idea for it, because we used to have it a long time ago, and there has been less kids running around loose and doing whatever they want.
Should teachers use a paddle to punish your kids? The controversy over corporal punishment in Dallas schools is heating up. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Join Baron James and me tonight for Fox 4 News. We'll see you at 10.
You're watching the news station, broadcasting live for Dallas and Fort Worth. This is Good Day at 5 a.m.
Good morning.
Broadcasting live for Dallas, Fort Worth, and all North Texas. This is Good Day Saturday on Fox 4. From the news station, Fox 4 News at 6. You're watching Fox 4 News at 6. Clarice Tinsley, Steve Eager, Chief Meteorologist Tim Heller, Mike Ducey with sports. Only on the news station, Fox 4. From the news station, Fox 4 News at 10. Broadcasting live for Dallas, Fort Worth, and all North Texas, the news station, Fox 4 News at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Tim Ryan.
Broadcasting live for Dallas, Fort Worth, and all North Texas, the news station. This is Fox 4 News at 9. You're watching Fox 4 News. Richard Ray, Shirley Washington, meteorologist Ron Jackson, sports with Max Morgan. Only on the news station, Fox 4. You're watching the news station for all North Texas. This is Fox 4 News at 10.
Good evening.
You're watching Fox 4 News. Clarice Tinsley, Baron James, Chief Meteorologist Tim Heller, Mike Ducey with sports. Only on the news station, Fox 4. Fox 4 is the news station. Broadcasting live for all North Texas. Fox 4 News at 6 starts now. From Fox 4, the news station. First at 9. Fox 4 News starts now. It's 8 a.m. This is Good Day on Fox 4.
Had a good Tuesday morning.
First at 9. Fox 4 News starts now. From the news station, Fox 4 News starts now. Broadcasting live and in high definition for all North Texas. Fox 4 News at noon starts now.
Good afternoon.
Broadcasting live and in high definition for all North Texas. Fox 4 News at 5 starts now. The most watched 5:30 local news in North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now. Broadcasting live and in high definition for all North Texas. Fox 4 News at 6 starts now. Fox 4 News continues at 9:30. Broadcasting live and in high definition for all North Texas. Fox 4 News at 10 starts now.
Waking up North Texas at 4:30 a.m. Good Day on Fox 4 starts now.
And our work and school week begins with rain and slippery roads. The wet weather may be around for a while.
Police are looking for a gunman after a man was shot at a restaurant.
Just can't believe it. Of all places, a church.
And vandals left a series of strange messages on the walls of a Catholic church over the weekend.
Good morning. It's Monday, October 14th. I'm Lauren Priswell.
And I'm Tim.
It's 7 a.m. in North Texas. You're watching Good Day Saturday on Fox 4.
Well, welcome into the weekend, everybody. I'm Jenny Ann Chondo, along with meteorologist Evan Andrews.
It's 6 a.m. in North Texas. Thanks for waking up with Good Day Sunday on Fox 4.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Sunday. It is March 23rd. I'm Steve Noviello in for Jenny Ann Chondo. Take a look at this. Some pretty heavy rains meant some pretty flooded streets. Apparently, though, not enough to put a dent in the dry spell that we've been having. But take a look. We'll always take a beautiful rainbow when we can get it.
Live and local for all North Texas. Fox 4 News at noon starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Dan Godwin. Big question of the day. How cold is it going to be tonight to ring in the new year?
It's 5 o'clock. Broadcasting live for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. We really need the rain, but you know that could put a damper on this weekend's St. Patrick's Day festivities.
You're watching the only local news at 5:30. Fox 4 News starts now.
Hello and good evening. I'm Steve Eager. First on Fox 4 News at 5:30 tonight, we have breaking news to pass along.
It's 6 o'clock across North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now. The news leader, broadcasting for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Those storms coming our way tomorrow could pack damaging winds and hail. Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's
10 o'clock in North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. Rain is on the way from parts of North Texas, and that means if you're headed to the fair or the Texas OU game or anywhere else outside, you might need to pack your umbrella.
Fox 4 is the news leader. This is Fox 4 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Natalie Solis. Crews have been on the scene of the fire at the Enclave Apartments near Grapevine Mills Mall since about...
It's 5 o'clock. Broadcasting live for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Brandon Todd. It's been a rainy Saturday across North Texas and more weather could be on the way. We'll bring you your forecast.
Devices off planes.
The news leader, broadcasting for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Our recent weather roller coaster will dip us into more fall-like temperatures again.
It's 10 o'clock in North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Maybe we keep on...
It's 6 a.m. in North Texas. Thanks for waking up with Good Day Sunday on Fox 4.
Good morning. I'm Dan Godwin in for Jenny and Chondo. Well, our Christmas Eve is getting off to a cold start, Jen, and the...
Here for you and all North Texas. It's a Good Day on Fox 4.
Nobody talking public.
Here for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
And your morning drive to work. Hi there. Investigators are working to pull the victims from the helicopter crash.
Here for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley.
And I'm Heather Hayes. The judge in the murder trial for fired Dallas police officer Amber Geiger hopes to seat a jury tonight.
If he's not stopped soon.
Here for you, first at 9. Fox 4 News starts now.
Parents in Southlake are trying to figure out if there's some kind of scandal involving the head football coach. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Brandon Todd. Southlake football teams known for winning. Or next with Fox 4 News at 10.
It's 10 o'clock across North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
A shocking suspension for Southlake Carroll High School's.
Here for you, first at 9. Fox 4 News starts now.
We are not in the clear for severe weather yet. There's another round of storms forecast for Sunday. Good evening. I'm Richard Ray.
Of crime.
Here for you, first at 9. Fox 4 News starts now.
It was a big day for Dallas sports fans. Good evening. I'm Natalie Solis. After weeks of disappointment, hi, Mike.
Hi, Natalie. Yeah, a Cowboys team that had lost 3 straight and 4 of its last 5 was picked by practically nobody to win today. Absolutely nobody picked them to. Are watching Good Day.
Here for you all morning long. This is Good Day on Fox 4.
Dallas County changes rules for testing at a couple of drive-through sites, and that's going to make it easier for some workers who are at risk.
The only local news at noon. Fox 4 News starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Lauren Prisbel. Dallas County commissioners have voted to extend the stay-at-home order.
Dropped some hail, by the way.
Here for you at 5 o'clock. Fox 4 News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Steve Eager.
And I'm Heather Hayes. A magnitude 7.7 earthquake hit in the Caribbean Sea, shaking areas from Mexico all the way to Florida.
Here for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Thunderstorms moved across North Texas this afternoon and early evening, and some areas got hail with it. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager.
And I'm
Awesome.
Here for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Expect some steady, sometimes heavy rain to continue tonight and overnight. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Thank you for watching.
Here for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. First at 10 o'clock, the city of Dallas extended its emergency disaster declaration.
This is Channel 4, KDFW-TV, Dallas-Fort Worth.